Hi, Room 230. It's time for writing. This is our very last poetry lesson. In fact, it's our last writing lesson of second grade. Whoa, we've written so much this year. We've written narratives and we've written fiction and we've written informational text about polar animals, and we have written letters and we've written our opinion, and now we're writing poetry. We have covered so much this year. What a celebration of writing we have done. So today I want to teach you about a new kind of poem. So far we've learned that poems can rhyme. They don't have to, but sometimes they do. We learned last week about haiku poems where you count the syllables. This week we're going to learn about a type of poem called a concrete poem. And it's a funny name because when I think of concrete, I think of the stuff that sidewalks or streets are made out of, but that's not what they mean. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So today we're thinking about how I can write a concrete poem about an object. A concrete poem is a poem written in the shape of an object. So somebody, was it Imran or was it Elijah? I'm forgetting now, wrote a poem about soccer last week. And if you remember, he read it to us at the class meeting, and there was the shape of a soccer ball around the poem. That was almost a concrete poem. It was really close. So I'm going to show you what concrete poems look like, and then I'm going to show you how I wrote one. It was a little bit tricky, to be honest, but it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to share with you a book. This is an epic, so you are welcome to go and read this book for yourself. It has a very, very silly name. It's called Ode to a Commode, Concrete Poems. A commode, as you can see by the picture, is a toilet. So here are some examples of some concrete poems. Concrete poems are always about a thing, an object, and then they are written in the shape of the object. So here is one right here, and you can see even without reading it that it is written in the shape of scissors. The words are the shape of scissors. And it says, scissors snip and nip and cut and always come in pairs. Great for cutting paper up and trimming my sister's doll's hairs. Uh-oh, the person who wrote this poem has been using scissors to cut their sister's doll's hair. And I imagine his sister is very mad at him. So, and then there's some extra words here to make the part where your fingers go through. It says snip, 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 snip. And over here it says cut, 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 cut. So this is what a concrete poem is. It is a poem about an object written in the shape of that object. This poem is about scissors, and it is made in the shape of scissors. So let's look at some more, and you can get some better idea of what concrete poems are. So here's the one that the book is named after, Ode to a Commode. Flush goes the sound of the toilet. The water with everything in it vanishes in a swirl and whoosh, and the bowl fills back up in a minute. So it's showing the water going down the drain in a toilet. And this one actually rhymes. Everything in it then rhymes with the word minute. But concrete poems don't have to rhyme. That's a choice you can make. If you want it to rhyme, it can. If you're not worried about it, it doesn't have to. Here is a poem in the shape of a football. And this is written from the football's point of view. If you've watched our reading lesson, you know that we've been talking about point of view. This poem is as if the football wrote it. Fans will clap for kickers as I'm sailing through the post. And when I'm caught, receivers get to be the ones who boast. And when I'm carried past the goal, just look around and see. The cheers are for the running back, but why aren't they for me? So the football is saying, hey, I'm the one actually doing all the work here. How come nobody's cheering for me? And it looks like a football, doesn't it? What's fun about this one is I like how we can see different colors in it, and they used different kinds of lettering. I know some of you love to make fancy letters, and you've been doing that all year. And normally I say to you, we don't have the time for that. Don't do that right now. Now is the time to do it. Hooray, you get to make your fancy letters. So maybe you can incorporate some fancy letters into your poem. This one is called A Twisted Tail, and you can see by looking at it, it looks like a pretzel. Yeah. Sometimes you're soft and you're chewy and warm, and sometimes you're hard and you crunch. You have an unusual, interesting form, and you're always delicious with lunch. That one rhymed too. This one here I thought was fun. Orange or blue and full of helium, floating up to reach the celium. And it says string, 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 string. What was clever about this is they wanted it to be a rhyming poem, but ceiling doesn't rhyme with helium. So they changed the word ceiling into celium, so it would rhyme with helium. I thought that was clever. Hi-ho silverware. Whether it's twisting spaghetti or stabbing some veggies or pork, when the time comes to eat, it's not easy to beat the simple and practical fork. So it's a poem about a fork in the shape of a fork. And they made it in the shape of a fork by drawing the letters bigger and smaller. That's pretty clever. Here, the poem is in shape of stairs, and then there's little people climbing on it. I like how they kind of decorated the poem. It's called The Plan. Whatever you reach for when you aim to do it, one step at a time is the surest way to it. Focus and practice and learn and rehearse. The step that is hardest to take is the first. Here's one in the shape of a snake. I'm going to let you go and read that one for yourself. This one here called All Wet, I thought was really fun. Have you ever run through a sprinkler in the grass? The sprinklers are the things that shoot the water up into the air when you want to water the grass. So this one is called Sprinkler, and it's kind of backwards because the title, or it starts down here, Sprinkler. Wet and clean and crisp and cold, energizing, brisk and bold. Running, splashing, sliding bliss. I wonder, just whose lawn is this? So yet another silly poem. They're running through the sprinkler and having such a great time, and then they realize, oh, we don't know whose yard we're in. Maybe they should have asked first. But this is it. I like this idea because it's an easy way to make a concrete poem. If you're not feeling very creative, you can think about just making lines go in different directions. Here we have a shoe and an ice cream cone and some fireworks. This one's kind of like the sprinkler one. Let's read this one. It looks like a sun setting over the ocean. The late shift. The sun lays down its tired head, sinking slowly into bed. Light goes out, stars go on, moon keeps watch until the dawn. What I think is nice about this one is they made the poem in the shape of the setting sun, but then there's all this other art to go around with it. I know that if you went and picked up your things from school, you also got a package of crayons in your gift bucket. So maybe you can put those crayons to good use and make a really colorful concrete poem. All right, that's the end of that book. So you can see that concrete poems are poems that are about an object and they're made in the shape of the object. So I wrote one and I had to do it on the computer so you would be able to see it instead of handwriting it. I actually think it's easier to make these concrete poems if you're just using pen and paper or crayons and paper. I got kind of stuck, to be honest, trying to make one for you on the computer, but I'll show you what I ended up with. Okay, dinner tonight. Steaming hot and mouth-watering, gooey cheese, yummy red sauce, mushrooms and pepperoni, peppers and olives, all my favorites, delicious pizza, yes. And then I added an exclamation point here to make the tip. And I hope that you can see it looks like a slice of pizza. At least that's what I tried to do. I wonder what you're going to do, and I wonder if yours will be, oh, so much better than mine. It was really fun doing writing with you, and I'm looking forward to hearing your poems and seeing your poems, because these are ones we need to look at. Maybe you'll share them at our class meeting. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.